Welcome to IPI Radio. I'm Sanjay Mukherjee. The price of maize, a crucial ingredient in livestock feed, has seen an exponential increase, driven by the decision of the government to procure a significant portion of the crop for the production of biofuel and other issues as well. Going forward, this will have a severe impact or is expected to have a severe impact on the livestock sector. In today's episode, we will discuss the intricate web of challenges within the maize supply chain and their profound implications on the Indian poultry sector.
In the orchestra of life, each creature plays a part. At Sapience, we see the web of life, where the health of animals reverberates through ecosystems and societies. With innovative technologies, we're redefining the future of agribusiness, sustainably enhancing productivity and profitability. We don't just dream of a better future, we make it. Food safety, quality, and security. These aren't just words, they're our mission. We're Sapience, and we're committed to healthier animals because we believe in healthier living. Be a part of our melody, and together, let's compose a better world. For more information about our products and solutions, log into sapienceagri.com.
I have the privilege of welcoming our moderator for today, Professor P.K. Shukla, Head, Department of Poultry Science, College of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, Duvasu, Mathura, and our speakers, Mr. K.G. Anand, General Manager South, Venkateshwara Hatcheries Group, Mr. Amit Saraugi, Managing Director, Anmol Feeds Private Limited, Mr. Suresh Chitturi, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Srinivasa Farms Private Limited, Mr. A.D. Nath, Feed Business Head and Vice President, Japfa Comfeed India Private Limited, and Mr. Amit Sachdev, South Asia Regional Consultant for US Grains Council. I would now like to hand over the proceedings to Professor Shukla to take the discussions forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Indeed, today what we are going to discuss is a burning issue in our country. Time and again, various poultry producers and the companies, they try to pose a problem of increase in feed prices. And of course, everybody knows that the major constituent in the feed is maize. The prices of maize nowadays is a burning issue. We do have all the eminent panelists with us as a great stakeholders of poultry in our country. So before we start, let us have a look of production system in our country. We have a poultry population of around 851 million. Right now, the per capita availability of egg has been raised to 101 egg per capita per annum. The total egg being produced in our country are around 138 billion, putting us second rank in the world. As far as maize requirement is concerned, almost 60% of the total maize produced in the country is being consumed by the livestock and poultry sector. So far, production statistics in our country is concerned, yes, according to the government sources, we are producing around 34 million metric ton of maize in around 10 million hectares of land with an average productivity of 3.43 tons of maize per hectare. So far production is concerned, the leading states are Karnataka, followed by Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. And these three states accounts for more than 40% of total maize being produced in our country. Now, in the beginning, I would like to invite a comment from each and every panelist and will restrict our comments to 2 to 3 minutes so that we may have a set of questions later on. So first, I would like to invite Mr. K.G. Anand, the General Manager, Venkateshwara Hatchery Private Limited. Anand sir, please.
Good evening to all of you, sir. As rightly pointed out, the availability of maize has been a concern for the poultry industry. Currently, if you look at the numbers that we have, whether in terms of broilers or layers, the total maize requirement is estimated to be somewhere around 17 to 18 million tons, of which about 10 to 11 million tons is consumed by broiler industry, between 6 to 7 million tons by layer industry. What is of concern is that the coming years, the poultry will definitely go because our per capita consumption is still about 91 to 100. Only go up. Similarly, if you look at broilers, which is currently somewhere estimated about 4.5 per capita, is likely to go up further. So if you look at the growth, it's likely to be somewhere around 7 to 8% for broilers and about 5% to 6% for layers. So we feel that the requirement of maize will every year increase by 1 million tons, and the production is not increasing in line with the requirement. In addition to poultry requirement, there's also competitive industries which require maize, be it for exports or for human consumption or aqua and other sectors. And if in case the government intent of using corn for ethanol becomes a reality, government alone is setting a target of 10 million tons in the coming years. If all these figures come to the reality, then we are looking at definitely a shortage by about 2027 or 2030. Unless we open the borders for allowing maize to come in, there might be a severe shortage of maize, especially because the competing the other substitutes which are available earlier, be it broken rice, bajra, jawar, all this will not be available. They are currently not available and probably will not be available for future. That's the reason the concern for the industry. This is in short about the present scenario for the corn.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anand Saab, for enlightening us on the issue. Now, I invite Mr. Amit Saraugi to have his comments. Mr. Amit Saraugi, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Professor and Dr. Shukla, for giving me this opportunity. See, we all know that feed industry, our 60% of buying is corn, and without corn you can't produce broiler feed. So this is a most essential part of our value chain. What we are seeing is like from last 4 or 5 years, due to one is like our maize prices are very volatile. Secondly, during Rabi season, we have mainly one crop coming in Bihar and a very few crop in Andhra and Karnataka, little crop in that. So we have to assure supply of corn round the year. We have to identify agroclimatic zones where more Rabi corn crop can be encouraged so that there is more availability of corn to the industry from April till September. I think 25% of total maize production is coming during Rabi season, and 75% is coming during Kharif season. Whereas the demand of maize is similar around the year. So this is one. Second, what we see is like India is like an island. We don't grow GMO. We don't allow GMO. Whole world is GMO. So our per acreage is less per acre. Whereas this crop is very remunerative to the farmers. What I understand that for farmers, maize crop takes little effort compared to growing paddy, maize in terms of investment, water, and other things. So we should to encourage round the year availability. Government should allow import of corn in automatic route, and they should fix a price. Say that if the prices are more than 21 rupees X farm in India, then the corn should be allowed in the automatic route. If it is below that, then it should not be allowed. Uh, Thirdly, what we are seeing that from last 7-8 years, what we are seeing that uh, this is good for the industry, but what we are seeing that lot of people who are not from this industry, who are traders, these are large multinationals also, small time traders also, they hold 25 to 30% of the stock at the during the season, and they hold it for more than 6 months. So that holding of the stock by non-industry players, it is creating an artificial scarcity during certain months of the year, especially during September, October, just before any crop is coming. We are reaching such a situation where the real poultry players are not having corn, and these traders have good quantity of corn which they are willing to, which they want to sell at 25, 26, 27 rupees. So these are the things which are the
Yeah.
problem of this industry. So I have spoken about what are the
Yeah.
problems, and in those problems also we have the suggested solution, that increasing
Yeah.
rabi crop.
Yeah.
So this is what I have to say, Dr. Shukla.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I invite Mr. Suresh Chitturi to have his comments, please.
So thank you, Shuklaji and Sanjay. I'm actually looking forward to asking me questions, Shuklaji, to answer. But I think the issues have been laid out quite eloquently by Anandji and Amit. I think more importantly for us, I think we need to, because in the earlier discussion, I think we were on a different, I think there's a difference on what is the issue, I think, among ourselves. So I think that is
Yeah.
where we need to, and the truth is one of us, right? I'm not saying one person is right, one person is wrong, but the truth is somewhere there, and we have to be clear on that as an industry. I think that is the problem. And then are we also, India is set to grow between 8 to 12 times in the next 25 years. I don't know how many of you realize that. It's a phenomenal opportunity, and one of the first advantages will be to us, to poultry. But we will also have challenges like that. So I think we have to get together, decide and come to a consensus on what is the issue and what is the opportunity, and then go and talk to the policymakers and make them present. But sitting and cribbing about it, nobody cares. I don't think anything will happen up. And two, I think also what needs sense is, we also have to also get present to what is the other side's problem. अब उनका भी प्रॉब्लम समझो ना, then you can do something. अगर आप अपना बोलते रहोगे and then they don't care because वो अपने प्रॉब्लम में फंसे हुए, right? End of the day, please understand they are politicians and they have to win. You and I are never contesting every 5 years. Nobody can displace Amit, right? अमित को कोई नहीं निकाल सकता ना, और मेरे को कोई नहीं निकाल सकता. तो हमारा हाल सिचुएशन अलग है, right? But they have to get elected every 5 years. So I think you need to appreciate that. With that, looking forward to your questions and maybe interactions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sureshji. Now I invite Mr. A.D. Nath for his quick comments, please.
Okay. Thank you, IPL News, Sanjay ji, for arranging the bonding issue. So I would just like to, segregate the maize into three parts. One is the world requirement. Like, world produce around 1.2 billion metric ton of maize, whereas India produce around 34 million metric ton. So if you see, world is enough maize availability for the requirement of 60% for the poultry and allied industries. Whereas India produces around 34 million metric ton. So which is 3% of the global production. But if you would say the requirement of Indian maize for the poultry and cattle and all feed industries, so still we are using only 17 million metric ton. So now still I am in dilemma to understand that where is the rest maize? Still 17 million maize. If you see stars growing at 13-14%, food also 13%. If you see the requirement, if you add all these requirements, then it is going around maybe 27, 28 million metric ton. But I still feel that there is some speculation working. There is some speculation working in the industry, which is not able to trace. But yes, the current situation has been beyond our control when our Honorable Home Minister said that the maize is going to be used for the ethanol industry, and ethanol of 20% of ethanol will be used in petrol. So that if that happens, then there is going to be a big setback for the entire poultry industry, and then there will be maize shortage. So in this context, for the mitigation, definitely I would request on behalf of the industry that the need of the hour is to import GMO maize for the urgent basis for the ethanol. Otherwise, if the ethanol industry really work as per the government target, then definitely there will be a shortage of maize. So this is what I want to comment on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nath Saab. Thank you so much. Now I invite Mr. Amit Sachdev for his quick comments, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sanjay, for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Shukla, thank you very much. To the esteemed panelists, I would agree with every one of them. Speculation, one part of the story, yes. Suresh, to your point, there are problems, inherent problems in our supply chain as well. Amit Saraugi, yes, we have crops and we need more crops year round. So let's looking at our requirement on a yearly basis or break it down to a month to month basis. We need about 2.7 to 2.8 million tons of corn every month. And we get 75% in Kharif, which is October, which is our major crop. Then we also have a small summer crop that comes to us in UP, and later on a Rabi crop, which is about 8 million tons. Which if we club it all together, the number could be anything. 34 million tons as per Government of India, or the industry number of 29 to 30 million tons. But there is also an issue that what is the average requirement of every industry? So the industry requirement, poultry demand is about 15.3 million tons. Dairy is about 5.2 million tons, which we don't think it is that high, but it is. Because India is has the largest pool of livestock animals. In production, we have about 90 million animals. Starch demand today is about 5.5 million tons. Capacity utilization of the starch industry is about 80%. And they are growing at about 12%. Beverage alcohol, which is for ENA, which is for drinking purposes, that is 0.73 million tons. Fuel ethanol last year used only 0.8 million tons. Food has not been growing. Food demand for corn has not been growing. It is stuck at about 2 million tons. And last year to 2023, we have exported about 2.2 million tons. The total demand, this number is about 32.54 million tons. And there is seed use of the same corn and there is wastage, 0.8 million tons. If our demand is so high and production at about 29 million tons, there is certainly a shortfall. But because we are insulated from the world, and to Nath Saab's point, yes, world produces 1.2 billion metric tons. There is enough corn in the world market, and the prices are much lower around the world. Taking an example of US consumer or an end user can today buy corn at about 15 rupees per kg, whereas we cannot. Where is that loophole? I think we need to look at a very holistic view of corn usage in different sectors. One. Number two, if Government of India has allowed use of corn for ethanol, it is for the farmers' benefit also because the prices will remain high. And I think it's an important way moving forward for Atmanirbhar Bharat. But then, where is that corn going to come from? That's a bigger question. If corn has to be used for ethanol, this year, when we look at the tender, India would require 3.4 million tons of corn for ethanol alone, and we don't have it. So I think what we are trying to look at is, where are we going to get our corn from? Where is the source? If we have to import corn from the world market, the world needs to have non-GM corn to sell to us, which it does not have. Because of the current situation in Ukraine, we cannot buy from Ukraine.
Okay.
And Red Sea issues are there. Ships are not coming out from there. I think all of us are here basically to look at what are the solutions. There have been some solutions offered. I think it's up to the government to decide if we will be able to move in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Amit. I think with the preliminary discussions, a lot more questions have come up. And very first, I'll come to you, Amit Saraogi ji. In spite of maize being the third most grown cereal crop in India, why are we unable to meet our own demands at a reasonable prices? What are the issues with it?
See, we as state governments has not done enough work to promote maize cultivation in various states. Like, see, most of the states, the government is buying paddy and rice in MSP. There is no buying of corn in most of the states. Very few states buy corn as per MSP. So, more effort has to be done by various agriculture departments of the state with the farmers, that what are the benefits of growing corn. Growing corn is the most resilient crop. The cost of production is lowest. The water consumption is lowest, and it has one of the best return on investment to the farmers. So the first thing is, we have to work with farmers, like government has done with millets. Like, they have promoted millets, but millet means non-corn millets, what they are promoting. So 1 year we have to celebrate year of the maize, where we are not promoting consumption of maize. We are promoting growing of maize among the farmers. This is one solution. Second solution is, we have to identify more. We are seeing, I'm there in this industry since last 25 years. So we used to see that there are various new areas where corn has started. Earlier, there was no summer crop of maize in UP. It has started coming from last 10, 12 years. There used to be no corn in Assam, West Bengal, Himachal Pradesh. So these states have small crop of corn in various time of the year. So at the central government level, central agriculture ministry level, we have to talk to different states that in which area and in which season is conducive to grow corn. And then it should be done. Third is like, see, what happens is, I told you, India is like an island. Like, if you see other countries around India, their free trade of corn happens. Like Bangladesh, Nepal, other corn consuming countries, they are importing freely corn from America or whichever are the producing countries. We are the only country where it is regulated. We are not allowed to import. But we see that lot of our corn goes to Bangladesh. A lot of our corn goes to Nepal, which we even don't count in our data. Some years we have seen more than 1 million ton, 2 million ton going to Bangladesh, which we are not counting. So there should be a regulation of, like we have a ban on export of rice. We should not allow any corn to be exported from India. So,
Yeah.
and fourth is like as an automatic price route system.
Yeah.
Like say we fix 21 rupees. If Indian corn prices X farm is 21 rupees, import is not allowed. If it
Yeah.
becomes 23 rupees, import will be allowed. I still believe that in our country, there is enough corn for our industry and everyone. This is because of the price fluctuation, speculation by different holders or people outside the industry who are holding more than 20-30% of the stock after the season. These are the people
Yeah.
who wants to make money from the corn. They don't want to make money from chicken, fish, milk. So there's some kind of regulation should come there earlier.
Yeah. Thank you.
And one more
Yeah.
thing, Dr. Shukla, I'm telling you,
Jay.
कि from since 2000 till 2015-16, corn had a proper cycle. We knew that it will start at this price in April, and round the year it will go up to this price in March. But after 2015-16, what happened is that lot of companies came who are giving you loans. This management companies who give loan to different traders, that you can buy the corn, they will keep the corn. And so our most of the stock, 20-30% stock, goes to the non-industry people, and whose sole purpose is to keep the stock for 2, 3, 4 months and make as much as money by speculation as much as they can. So the before 2016, if you see the data, you will find once in 6-7 years we have 1 year where we have fluctuation. In from last 4-5 years, it is not like we will see sometimes that February, used to know that March is the highest. March will be the highest, but some years we have seen March corn prices go down. Some years we know that corn prices will be lowest in December because most of the crop comes. But this year we have seen prices zooming in December. So these 4-5 things we have to regulate.
Yeah.
I feel there is enough corn in the country. If we can regulate these non-industry people stock, who are not the end consumers, I think we'll be in a very better position.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for making a very befitting reply. Indeed, we need to worry about the production system, and also procurement at a reasonably priced manner, so that farmers should be encouraged to have the crop next year also. So this brings me to take myself to Mr. Anand. Anand sir, India is promoting export, and the production is expected to be increased, and as such there will be more demand for feed also. So how this will affect the feed prices in our country?
Sir, unless we take up some proactive steps in terms of growing more area under Rabi, probably bringing in better varieties, which government has already announced to increase the maize yields. If in case exports becomes a big sector for poultry, like growing in big numbers, definitely already corporates have come in. Corporates are bringing a lot of efficiency in terms of purchase of ingredients, bringing the cost of production. Export will be a reality. In about 3 years of time, I'm sure some of these corporates will take up exports in a big way. And that's the time the production will increase in big numbers. Maybe the growth will not be 7-8%, but even go to 10-15%. India also might become a country like Brazil or Argentina looking at export market in a big way. That time, I think we need to represent to the government for allowing export to the export houses import maize if in case of parity exists. Like today, maize is available in the world. If you can get maize somewhere at let's say 18 or 19, because $200 to $220 if you can get it, GM maize and allow for export or for ethanol, I'm sure to a great extent the problem will be solved. Today the crisis is little more seen basically because the substitutes are available. Mostly the broken rice, ragi, bajra, jawar, which are available at low price. Now, all these mana minutes are not available. As a result, they are also using to the extent of 40% of corn. So, broader industry growing, their industry demanding about 40-45%, plus the other competing industries, whether it is starch or exports, growing in terms of number. That's the reason we think the maize prices are going up. And if you look at the season to off season, earlier there was a time when in the season the prices were very close to MSP levels. In the off season, probably the prices to go up. Now that kind of a difference is not seen. Even in the season, if there is a report saying that the monsoon is not up to the mark, even in season and November, December itself, the prices are shooting up to 24. And off season, obviously, they'll add another 2.5% interest per month and go up. All this fluctuation can be taken away if, in case, for export purposes or for ethanol purposes, they allow the consumption industry, whether it's poultry or for ethanol manufacturers, to import. To that extent, I think it will bring in them in terms of 5 million tons or 10 million tons a year. Then probably the price will go in a stable range.
Thank you so much. Indeed, I also feel that ethanol production is largely going to affect our industry. So far, availability of maize is concerned. So this brings me to take myself to Mr. Suresh Chitturiji. Sureshji, how you foresee the role of maize in ethanol production in our country affecting the poultry sector?
So I think we need to understand something here. The ethanol guys, as it stands, they have a cost plus model with the government, right? I mean, they are really not impacted by, to a large extent, by what is the cost of maize. Because see, the government gives them a contract based on whatever is the cost of. So more or less, unka saaf hai. So you please understand that. And government, and also understand, right? I mean, government has made a commitment that ye karenge wo. And if anybody who expects Narendra Modi or to take back this thing and do something else, good luck. Then you are living in a different world, not in the same India, right? So wo to hone wala nahi hai. So that is happening. And this is what I was in Delhi last week, I think 10 days back, Hindu business line ka ye tha, to wo udhar ये समझा रहे थे कि तो उनको तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है because government is giving them a contract and government, I think if I'm not wrong, mostly supplying them also corn, right? Amit, government is supplying them the corn, right?
Yes.
Through FCI.
They'll procure it MSP and supply it to the ethanol.
Yeah, but they get 6 rupees more. They get 6 rupees more if they are making ethanol from corn.
So that is a different this thing. My point is, so that is what they were explaining, that ethanol to jo blending wo bol rahe wo to hoga, right? Our problem is still not their problem because chicken price, egg price, it is still not government's this thing. Because so I think we need to understand that, right? And it is going to keep going up. Now that is where I think, and if we go to government, Shuklaji, and keep telling ke dusre ko roko, then we come across as villains. And they will not listen to us.
Yes.
And our ministry is very weak. They are so neither our minister or ministry has any, they're nice people. There's no doubt about it. I'm not.
There is no pressure. There is no pressure.
But they can't. Gadkari ke saath wo nahi bid sakte, right? Or especially against PMO. So with that, I think what we have to realize, and I was just looking at certain numbers, and our India is the second highest arable land in the world. I don't know how many of you know. The only country with more agriculture land in the world is US.
Yes.
And in maize production, we are, I think, 6th or 7th in the world. Right?
Seventh, yes.
And if you look at per capita, per acre yield, I don't know if we will come in the top 75 in the world.
No.
So there is an opportunity for sure. And that is what I think we need to project to the government. Why and I think that's what we need to do. We need to show them why it is there, right? I mean, as India, जब विकसित भारत होगा 2047 में, right? गवर्नमेंट कुछ नहीं कर सकती. लोग ज्यादा खाएंगे. They will want more protein.
Yes.
They will eat lot more protein, because other thing you need to understand कि आज का जो knowledge है, right, and whatever policy making has been done का knowledge है, is 100 years का difference है minimum, right? आप किसी को भी देखो, जब मेरा जो भी मेरे को last 2-3 years से मिले हैं, all of them are now eating 3-4 eggs.
Yes.
Right, Shukla ji? And people have been telling me that how much of a difference it is made to their health. This one change, right? And that is going to come. And as an industry, we will do that. Na, हम लोग कभी तो हमारा we'll get our act together and tell people why you need to eat more eggs and all that. And government also realizes the impact of that. They are also realizing, right? One day Nirmala Sitharaman ji said, we recognize that. She said, just leave my cow alone. And I also am with you, madam, completely. किसी को गाय को खाना नहीं चाहिए, सब मुर्गी खाना चाहिए, right? So this is happening.
Yes.
So, and we need to make them present why the country is at risk if more protein, high quality protein is not available, right? And then also an opportunity of when you are moving. Forget about US ka 11 tons per hectare. But even if you go 1 second, I was just searching these numbers and I just had sorry, on screen.
So we had a production of around 3.4.
Brazil is at 5.5 tons per hectare.
Yes.
China is 6.9, Argentina is 6.3, Ukraine is 4.4.
Yes.
We are at 2.8, right? I'm not.
Yes. No. Now we are 3.45 according to recent statistics.
What's that? But you know how, sir, Shukla ji, thoda mujhe maaf kariye statistics के बारे में. I am still not क्या बोलते हैं fan. I'm still not a very convinced person about that. Right? And
it happens.
The government of India is saying 4.5 million tons of chicken, but we know it is at least 8 million tons. So minimum 8 million tons.
It has crossed 9.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised if
it has crossed 9. Yes.
So that is where I am coming from, is that I think we need to sit down and first look at this ourselves and project to government what is the thing. And we also need to, we definitely can't tell government ki sabko chodo, take care of ourselves. And anybody who talks like this, I'm telling you, nobody will listen. Like they were not listening to us.
Yes.
Sunenge nahi apni baat. You have to put a positive spin on that. Show them how millions of farmers will get advantage of that. See, just one last this thing, so पिछली government में Andhra में जब Chandrababu Naidu थे, I had actually convinced him. He said, Andhra was producing some 3 million tons and he put a target of 10 million tons by 2030. Of course, the next guy who came ignored it, but we will go back and now, tell them, because he also realized, he said, boss, we are investing so much in these dams and all that, साला ये पानी हम sugarcane को और rice को दे रहे हैं, ये तो waste हो रहा है. वो उनका था. Then what I told him, sir, आप ना 10 million ton produce करो, we'll produce more eggs, more chicken, more aqua, and we'll sell it outside the country and outside the state. And he really liked that idea. And I think we have to go do that with almost every chief minister, every, do that. And otherwise, we will be at the effect, because someday imports will happen. But I'm warning you, import of maize and soya will not happen. Import of chicken and egg will happen. Please be careful about that.
That will be much easier.
Because वो केस अलग है ना government को.
Yes.
Maize and soya मतलब millions of farmers है.
Yes.
Chicken मतलब उनको वेंकीज दिखता है, सुगना दिखता है, आईबी दिखता है.
I understand. Yes.
They don't think there are the hundreds of farmers.
Very practical. Thank you so much for your quick comments. And really, we need to look into these issues to come out of it. So, Amit Sachdev ji, now continuing with the same flow, where does ethanol fit into the maize demand matrix in India?
As I said, sir, if we look at the current tender for supply of ethanol, the demand for ethanol is 9 billion liters. And Government of India has set a target for 50% of this to come from the grain side. When FCI rice is not being provided, the pressure is only on corn. The price of ethanol from corn is set at 71 rupees and 86 paisa per liter, which is, I would say, a subsidy, and it is a cross subsidy. But when you look at the numbers today, the demand for corn for ethanol alone in 23-24 is 3.4 million tons. This by 25-26 will be 9 million tons or higher. And we don't have 3.4 million tons or 9 million tons for ethanol at all. But as Suresh said, this system, ethanol blending, will continue. It is not going to stop. So we'll have to find ways and means to increase the production in country. But this will not happen overnight. Land will not come immediately. To get more land, some other crop has to go out. To plant seed on that land, we need more seeds. That is another 2-year cycle. So there has to be a plan on the productivity.
No, but earlier, India worked on the mission mode, and so far maize production is concerned, and ultimate result was also encouraging.
Absolutely, I'm not denying that. There was technology mission on maize and pulses. There used to be, but then it stopped because the pressure was on producing more rice and wheat. Today, we have to realize that we have to feed 80 crore people, 800 million people, free of cost. They have to be provided with wheat and rice. Corn is not food. Corn has to be either declared as an industrial crop. Because if we look at whatever number we produce, only 2 million tons is going in for food purposes. Why is still it being termed as a food crop? Number one. Number two, on the productivity side. Again, Government of India number 3.2 metric tons per hectare or 3.4, 2.8 does not matter. We are so low on the world average. When the world average is 5.7 metric tons per hectare, at least we should have good seeds to come to that level. And it's not only about seed, it's also about farm practices. Our lands are smaller. Most of the crop that we get in Kharif is all rain-fed. And with a change in weather patterns, we are facing more problems. When we want rain, it does not rain. When we don't want rain during harvest, it rains. So within the country, it's a large country. We cannot control anything. But then if we can control if we can give better information to the farmers for farm practices, things can improve. Our seed quality can improve. The grain quality can improve. Now, just giving you one example here. India produces hard endosperm corn, which is primarily for food purposes. US produces soft endosperm corn, which is mainly for industrial purposes. The starch content in that corn is same, 72%. But the extractability of starch from US corn is higher than Indian corn by 4%. That's all technology. And that's in the seed.
I do have a lot of question on this. Later on, I'll come to you just to see the difference between the US and India. But later on, we'll discuss that.
So there are, and everything is in the seed. Everything is in the seed. So there are things that we can do in country, but it is going to take time. It cannot happen overnight.
Yeah, we understand that.
But in
And
the
really,
interim, we will need to open our doors to allow, or the prices will continue to go up. And we have, as I think other panelists said, we have been using other grains in feed. But so we have been using bajra. When wheat was cheaper, we were using wheat. Rice we have been using. Sorghum we have been using. But when the prices go up, we cannot. And the starch industry cannot use anything other than corn. They cannot do rice or sorghum or pearl millet. They are dependent only and only on corn. Ethanol today, because rice is not available, wheat cannot be used, they will have to be dependent on corn as we move forward.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, looking to these changes in the supply of maize, Mr. Nath, I would like to ask you, how have recent changes in maize supply chain impacted the resilience and sustainability of overall system in our country?
Okay. Actually, I read one article. I think Mr. Amit Sachdeva will also check it. That in 2021 to 2031, there will be only 1.84% year-on-year growth of maize production in India. Then I compare with our industry, either poultry or animal feed and starch, they are growing at 7 to 8%, up to 10%. Now, for example, Anand Saab told it can go up to 10 to 15%. So considering only 2% growth of maize year on year versus 10 to 10% growth on the user companies, industries. So we need every year, the poultry industry itself need 1 to 1.5 million metric ton maize. Starch and others also required 1 to 1.5 million metric ton. So every year we need another 2 million metric ton to 3 million metric ton extra maize, whatever we are using now. So which is very much challenging. Now I am not talking about the ethanol part. So I am still in 2024. If I will talk about 25 to 30, then heart attack will immediately come for the poultry industry people. Okay. So now, yeah, definitely, because every year we need 30 million extra without ethanol. And if ethanol comes in the picture, I was also doing some permutation and combination after getting some ethanol numbers. Sometimes it can goes up to 8 million metric ton maize for the ethanol only. If government reach that 1016 crore liter of ethanol production by 2025. Okay. So this will totally dismantle of the ecosystem of our poultry and animal feed industry. Okay. So now, actually, last if you see, I was attended as a guest lecturer in few agri-business colleges in India. Last every month, I am attending lectures for 2-3 guest lecture I am giving just to promote our industry. You will be surprised. I am asking 2 questions to each student. How many of you students need GMO crops? How many of the students you need non-GMO crops? You can't believe not even 10% students are supporting GMO because we are already injected their mind that GMO means bad. But the country like USA, which is getting Olympic medals, okay, and they are having 94% GMO crops, and they are very healthy. But in case of India, from the grassroots, we are already putting in their mind that GMO is not accepted in the country. So first, as the industry, we should create awareness among the industries so that first we have to need food for survival. Then we'll look into the health part. Okay. So this calculation, I just diverted my topic, but if you see the calculation of the entire episode of the maize, then there will be a challenge. Now, for example, like broken rice, bajra, all these things are now prices are very close to maize. Last 1 or 2 years, if you see broken rice, it is not coming into the picture if the nutritionist doing the formulation maize versus nutrition. Okay, so now rice will also not available because as like PDS scheme for the government of India, it 80 crore people need required free food. So rice not available, wheat not available, maize is also not available. So now we have to ask to the government, please focus on this industry for the livestock industry, which is almost it is almost 9% of the agriculture GDP. I think Professor Shukla will correct me if the numbers is correct or wrong.
Yes.
So this is totally disturb our ecosystem. So immediately we have to take a step, and immediately we have to approach to the government. Please allow GMO to sustain in the industry for the short-term basis. Then for the long-term basis, for the GMO cultivation, everything can come into the picture. But this is a very long-term, and this is the very less time, very difficult to, the technological part, the yield 10 versus 3 per hectare, USA versus India. Maybe it will take 2047, you may be developed country, but you cannot reach that goal because the land, the technology, the environment, lot of things are there. So immediately, I am irritating that we should import GMO at urgent basis. We should approach the government. Then only we can survive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I think still we are having 5 minutes with us. So we may have a quick round of one question each to all the panelists. So a quick question to Mr. Amit Saraogi. What is the supply chain management issue due to use of maize in ethanol production? Quick response to this.
Yes, see, since the maize is diverted to ethanol, and the trader also wants to sell maize in ethanol than selling to poultry industry. Why? Because we have lot of quality criteria when we are buying corn, whereas in ethanol industry they just accept it. They don't take much care on quality of corn, on fungus side and all those side. So even the farmers and traders prefer to supply to ethanol industry than corn industry. One thing.
Yes.
Second thing, what see.
So those are the quality concerns.
Yes.
Quality concerns in supply chain. Okay.
Dr. Shukla, see we have been talking about this GMO since last 20 years with the government. You were commissioner in the government. We used to go to you from Klafma since 2007-8. We know what has happened and what is going to happen. So I think the lowest hanging fruit is that government of India should talk to different state governments. We should celebrate the year of corn, and we should focus
on promotional activities.
Focus on promotional activities. We should educate farmers that what are the benefits of growing corn in terms of profit to the farmers. अपने देश में, हिंदुस्तान में सबसे इंटेलिजेंट आदमी फार्मर है. वो पैसे की भाषा बहुत अच्छे से समझता है. अगर हम we are able to explain them that if you grow corn, your input cost is very less, risk of crop failure is very less, you will get an assured price. Even if government says as an industry, I'm ready to take a district, that in this district whatever corn will be produced at whatever prevalent market price, I will buy. I will give the guarantee. So these things are possible. We have to speak to respective state governments. I think this is the easiest solution which is possible. Other solution there is no other solution except GMO. But we all know that it will take time.
Yeah. The problem with GM crop is it is not maize which can be dealt isolately. And at the same time, being on a concurrent issue, we need to have a concurrence of state governments also. And this is a bit complex process when we have started dealing with it. Thank you so much for your quick comments. Coming to Mr. Nath, what mitigation strategies do you recommend to address the potential vulnerability?
Sir, firstly, it is crucial to grasp the dynamics of the speculation. I am always saying the same word. When a trader speculates on a higher price, buyer sense this sentiment and quickly move to stockpile maize. The combination of speculation and sentiment gives rise to rumors of a potential shortage of maize supply. So in current times, the supply demand theory proved less effective unless there is a substantial gap between the two. So this is just a initial stage. And for logical mitigation strategy like diversification of crop varieties, in research and development on resilient maize varieties, infrastructure and transportation, storage, processing, strengthening, sustainable agricultural practice, market diversification and value-added products, technology and data analysis. There are a lot of things are required for the mitigations, but there is a collaboration required for the industry, farmer, government, traders to mitigate this overall situation of the maize. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Coming to Mr. Amit Sachdev, a quick comment on what is the difference between the Indian and the US maize and their production systems. A quick comment, not very elaborate, just the differences.
Sir, as I said, Indian corn is hard endosperm corn, and US corn is soft endosperm corn. It has been grown basically for industrial purposes, that it can be milled easily. That was the main reason how it was produced, why it was produced. It was not produced for food. And I think it's also important to look at the way it is farmed, harvested, and stored. A lot of people would say that US corn is very soft and would get bad quality very fast. It does not happen because of a very simple reason, that it's one crop. It is allowed to dry at the field level itself, harvested mechanically and stored properly. So there are things that are done at the farm level itself. So even if the price is lower in the US, the farmer is still continuing to grow because there is a bulk production of corn across and productivity is much higher. You're talking about 11 metric tons per hectare. And the seed varieties are very, very resilient. Even if it does not rain or gets one rain, it is more than enough. These are drought prone varieties that are available. Everything is in the seed. Weeds do not have a problem there. We don't have any problems in the US for any pests because it is biotech as well. It is one of the tools. It is not the tool. It is one of the tools which helps mitigate most of the issues at the farm level. Rest all, I think it's more about supply chain.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anand Saab,
Sir,
with a wild solution, normally government guarantee MSP for maize and make it available for ethanol industry. Do we have some such guarantee from poultry players in the country for MSP of maize?
it's a good question. I think most of the players, if you look at now that the size of businesses increased and some of the corporates and others have come in, they are procuring corn in the season in bulk quantities, especially with the commodity financing available. So indirectly, farmer is assured of the MSP rates are probably little higher than MSP rates during the season months. And because this commodity finance is available and the corporates have a tendency to stock for 3 or 4 months, I think a bulk quantity, whatever is available in Kharif, whatever the crop is, 70% is in Kharif, out of which the major quantity directly from farmers is being purchased by the producer. If in case government is also assuring them MSP and the corporates also assure them of MSP and government takes proactive steps in terms of introducing good varieties where the yield levels can go up, I think definitely to some extent the availability can be increased. The only concern is regarding the ethanol, which maybe government can solve by allowing import of maize for ethanol manufacturers. Otherwise, I think what is being produced, what is being utilized, we can match if in case we can take to state governments and central governments and go for more varieties. Definitely, farmer is assured of MSP because you don't see in any year corn prices falling lower than MSP, except for Bihar, it used to happen. But even that also got corrected in the past 2 years. Even in Bihar, farmers are getting the good rates. So overall in the country, if you look at less than MSP, it's not really happening. Even in seasonal months, because the corporates are going, stocking, and ensuring that the farmer gets MSP. That's the reason the acreage will go up in the coming years. But if more acreage comes in Rabi, I think it will be useful for the industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a comprehensive answer. Now, Suresh Chitturiji, a very last question to you. Always, off and on, we find maize prices are volatile. But at the same time, the maize remains a mystery for me since my ministry days. Off and on, we come across that there are problems of maize in the industry. But at the same time, we are having the same pace of growth in the industry. How it is possible? Your quick comment, please.
You are muted. You are muted.
Please unmute. Please unmute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I think so. See, overall, what has been happening, Shuklaji, is the industry has been growing, but at the expense of the smaller guys, right? People with the financial power or whatever it is, they are the ones who are managing to, same thing, right? I mean, like COVID, when you see the 2 months, whoever survived, after that, they made a killing. They recovered almost all their losses in the next 45 days. Right. And so that is what keeps happening. And I think in some sense that is happening. But then also understand India consumption is growing. It will continue to grow. It is not going to stop anytime soon. Right. It is continued to grow and all that. So, people who have the financial muscle to, and we have all, I myself, since I was born, I've been seeing these ups and downs, right? It's around the corner. Things will come up again, right? Now, Anand uncle was saying next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months will be super great, right? God knows. It might be, but then I don't know. I mean, some people were losing tens of crores every day in December. Now, pata nahi. I mean, as I said, and when you meet them, they don't seem to be in such a bad mood. So I think that will go, Shuklaji. And I think most of the time, I think in maize, we have never had such a bad situation as we had in soya that 2-3 years back, right? Maize to tha, but it's never been that bad, right? In a year, it never went up 4x, right? It went up a little, it goes up and, and then maize for substitutes are, in some ways, there are more substitutes for maize. Not ideal. But the issue is not this thing. So, and like Nathji has been saying, India produces a lot of cereals. It is not this thing, right? Now, TK, now what has happened is broken rice also is no more cheap like it used to be. 2 years back, you would get for 13, 14 rupees. Aaj to I don't think 20 rupees ka kam to chance hi nahi hai.
22.
22 to hai, but that's what I'm saying.
25. 25 in South.
So 24, 25 is there. So there is no question of going under 20 now, right? So then suddenly 25 rupees maize becomes more attractive, no? It's all relative, na, Shuklaji. So that. So
yeah,
I think
in fact,
Shuklaji, to answer your question, after Suresh completes, basically, if you look at the last few years, the productivity gains in poultry was quite substantial. If you look at the eggs per bird or in terms of broiler FCR, there was a considerable improvement year on year. Now we have reached probably a plateau because whatever the FCR that we are getting, the best in the world, we are getting something like 1.4, 1.45. I think the farmers and especially after the corporates have come in, they brought in the technology. So now we have got the cost of production under control per kilo of. Now to bring in any substantial case might be difficult. Yes, still there is a scope in terms of the ingredients time, quality of the ingredients, all these are there. But maybe to mitigate the increase in cost might not be possible through productivity gains. Especially with the ethanol claim of government, that is a cause of worry for the industry. Otherwise, left to itself, some increase will be there, industry will go on. Maybe there will be 3-4 months of crisis period, but we could manage. But if in case government intent of 10 million tons they procure for ethanol. Surely there is an acute shortage. So we need to represent both at the state level and the central level to ensure that that quantity is available elsewhere, either from the world, either importing or increasing the productivity in the country.
Yeah, Sureshji, please continue.
Yeah, so I think so from that perspective, I think we are in also some ways, Shuklaji, this has been in many ways, it's a death by 1,000 cuts, right? Yeah, halal nahi hai. Halal more, not jatka types. So that's what is helping us. You're right about it. And but I think I don't see an immediate issue, Shuklaji. I don't think are we in trouble next 5 years? No, but I think we will be in big trouble post that if we don't get our act together now. And that is why I'm focusing on that and not on what needs to be done today, tomorrow, day after. I think that I don't think is yet a danger. But I am, as I said, see, one of the things I've studied is as economies have progressed, they have moved from $2,000 to $5,000. One of the highest consumption is for eggs and chicken. All over the world. Happened in US, happened in China, even in countries where they were already eating a lot, right? Like, and in many ways, eggs and chicken are the most valuable protein also available, right? Because like Anand has said, right? Now we have reduced because of the whatever it is, today the genetics and all that. Look at how much we have reduced the need for feed per same production, right? And it is only marching forward. It is really doing well. People are now getting in EC houses 1.35, 1.4 FCRs. So वो तो standard हो जाएगा. I'm guaranteeing you in 3-4 years, anybody who's above 1.55 FCR will be out of the business. Like 5 years back, anybody who did more than 1.75 was out, right? So I think that's how it's going to go, and we'll find more efficiencies. But and of course, I think chicken will be higher priced also. But then we have a huge opportunity also. We are at 2.8 tons, or 3.4, and like Amit has been saying, the world average is 5.7. Then why should we be under it? We should be above it. No? We should probably go to 6 tons. And
no, but mostly it is because of GM. Mostly it is because of GM.
It is. Ukraine is the closest, but Ukraine, which I don't know. I don't know the reality of it. Claims it is non-GM. Is at 4.5 tons.
No, it is. It is.
Right.
It is.
So is it non-GM? I don't know. But then the Europeans are happy buying from there, believing it is non-GM. So maybe it is non-GM.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Indeed, the matter of concern is whenever we want maize will be available, but not at affordable prices, because we know the poultry prices are not relatively increased if feed prices are increased. So that's a matter of concern. And second, the concern is if we are growing with the same pace, again, it will be a problem for easy availability of maize at a reasonable prices. So thank you so much, all the panelists. Each and every person has contributed significantly. Thank you, KG Anand ji, Amit Saraogi ji, Suresh Chitturi ji, AD Nath ji, and Amit Sachdeva ji. And thank you so much, Sanjay Mukherjee ji. I think we are in time. Now I am again handing it back to Mr. Sanjay Mukherjee for concluding remarks.
Thank you, Professor Shukla, and thank you, speakers, for that wonderful session. Before we end, I'd like to really thank all of you for taking time out for this session today. And we hope that the discussions that we've had today will add to the many efforts to find a solution to an issue that looms large over the industry today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is a wake-up call against the growing shadow of antibiotic resistance over our poultry, our health, and our world. To fight this menace, Excelsio, a natural antibiotic-free performance enhancer, marshals an army of bacteriophages, each engineered by evolution to engage a specific bacterial adversary. Excelsio uses a cocktail of bacteriophages that protects your flock against various strains of Salmonella, E. coli, Clostridium perfringens, and Staphylococcus aureus. Excelsio is more than a product. It's our shield against antimicrobial resistance. It's our stand for a safer, healthier future.
For more information about our products and solutions, log into sapiensagri.com.
To be notified of upcoming podcasts, like and subscribe our YouTube channel at IPR Radio today.